Hello everybody, it's me, it's Chad, it's Polynerdic, back with another video. I know I'm a fucking dork. We're talking about TTRPG stuff again here on the channel. I said for a very long time it was going to be a focus of the channel, and here we are at the end of 2023, finally getting it done. Hasbro kind of did a shitty thing again. They started the year with the OGL nonsense, and they're ending the year with layoffs, specifically a number in the WotC departments, both Magic the Gathering and D&D. So I set out with the expressed goal of showing off some 5e stuff that isn't from WotC. I happen to have played the most of 5e of all the tabletop games I've played. Played a little bit of 3.5. I've played a couple games of Pathfinder 2nd edition, other games that are completely not D20 games as well. But my tabletop experience has largely been made around 5e. I enjoy it, my kids enjoy it. We have a good time. I understand people don't like it. But one thing I learned very early on, and I've said this in most of these videos, is that a lot of really good, if not most of the best 5e content came from outside of the WotC bubble. We did a video earlier about Kobold Press and all their stuff that's good, and the Game Master's Guide, or the Game Master's Book of series, and stuff from Kickstarter. Kickstarter is just full of great 5e content. Some of which I'm going to talk about in future videos, because I have some of them backed. I just don't have the physical book yet. And some of them aren't due to come out for another year and a half. But today, now that I'm done rambling with the preamble, we're talking about Tal'Dorei campaign setting Reborn. Yes. If you weren't aware from my unboxing videos, I still have two of them to do as well. The unboxing videos of Critical Role minis. I am a critter. I like the show. I watch it every week. They put out a setting book back during campaign 1, I believe, and I think Green Ronin was the publisher. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Green Ronin was the publisher of the original Tal'Dorei setting book. But recently, as in like a couple years ago, almost 2 full years ago now that I think about it, because I lived here in this apartment when it came out. I gotta fix my webcam again. Not for this video, but this is not the first time tonight I've had to futz with the autofocus. There we go. Apologies for my super professional content. This fine book got put out through their Darrington Press imprint, their publishing house of games and stuff. They put it back out. They updated it. They added some new subclasses. They included the Blood Hunter. They fleshed out a lot of the city information. There's adventure hooks, and they give an afterword for the Vox Machina crew, our lovely dysfunctional heroes from campaign 1. This book is fantastic. I actually have the PDF of this one too. I actually had the PDF first. I only, in the last 8 months, got the physical book. Comes with a beautiful map too, of Tal'Dorei, specifically Tal'Dorei. You know, Exandria, Matt Mercer's world's a pretty large world. This is just the setting from the first campaign, if you didn't know that already. Odds are, if you're watching this, you probably did. Yeah, if you're watching this, you either love Critical Role or hate Critical Role. The loving Critical Role side, the critters, know what I'm talking about. So let me pull up the PDF for you real quick. I just want to show you a little bit about this beautiful book that they've designed. All right. Cover art, you've already seen it. It shows some of their characters here. Like there's the Blood Wizard. I believe that is the Paladin of the Sea. That's a Cobalt Soul Monk. I believe this is their Moon Cleric and their Blood Cleric. And this thing is something special. Oh, and the Barbarian's up there too. You can see the credits on it. Matt Mercer, Hannah Rose, James Hake. I think that's how you pronounce your name, James. Forgive me if I'm wrong. If you even stumble across this. All your credits. Green Ronin, I was right. Hey, I remembered a thing. Table of contents. Refrigerator's loud. Breaks down their calendar. The Myth of Exandria, the Founding, the Wrath of Primordials, Age of Arcanum, the Calamity, the Divergence. That would be when the Calamity is when the gods fought, and the Divergence is the aftermath. Then you get into the history of Tal'Dorei. Again, just one continent. This doesn't cover the other side. You get through the Chroma Conclave stuff. I think the first bit here is... Yeah, the first bit under Thordak the Cinder King is how he got banished to the elemental plane of fire. And then the Chroma Conclave information is about what happened in both the Campaign 1 at the table and in the second season of the animated series. There's a good picture of Thordak. Gigantic ancient dragon. Gotta love it, right? You gotta love a gigantic ancient dragon. I am not of the school of thought that dragons suck. I love dragons in all forms. Could they be better in game? Absolutely. They made it apparent that they're natural spellcasters and stuff, so run them with spells and whatnot. But then they didn't really give you anything interesting to work with that. Again, one of the big complaints I have heard all along and have found to be true is that 5e is an edition that is very much, here's the bare bones structure, now DM, go do something with it. And it can be a bit daunting. Not only do you have to plan the campaign, but you have to improve the monsters. That's why all those monster books I've been showing you are great, because they're good monsters that you can throw that are different. Maybe you've got some experienced player on your field or at your table that is, they've internalized the stats of your average hobgoblin. So here's this super powerful fiendish hobgoblin commander from the Flea Mortals book. But I digress. Great art again. I mean, just look at that art. Got the Barbarian. Not sure who the one here in the middle is. Kind of looks like the original description of Kima. That is Lady Kima. Ha! She's more of a redhead with darker skin in the animated series, but that's the original description of her. Some gods. I like the alt text. Shows up and lets you know what it is. It's the Wild Mother and the Law Bearer. You get into the gods, the pantheons, the prime deities, their emblems. A lot of Matt's gods have direct correlation with the D&D pantheon. Like, for example, the Platinum Dragon is 100% Bahamut, but they call him the Platinum Dragon in Critical Role past the first season. I think the Changebringer is kind of hand in hand with Timora, the goddess of luck. The Knowing Mentor is Ioun. I would gather the Wild Mother is kind of Miliki, if I pronounce that right. D&D people know what I'm trying to say. The Everlight, on the other hand, is a transformation of Sarenrae, who is a Pathfinder god, because you may not know, you probably do, but I'm going to say it anyway. Critical Role, their home game started in Pathfinder and then became D&D when they went to the live stream. So they had to transition from Pathfinder First Edition to Fifth Edition D&D. So kudos to them for making it work. The Matron of Ravens, the Dusk Maven as she's called in a different continent in Exandria, is totally the Raven Queen from 5e. It's the Dawn Father, Almater. Isn't that Paylor? Paylor is his name here. Anyway, this book is amazing. Like I've said that about every book I'm sharing with you, but it's that way for a reason. Because if I didn't think it was amazing, I wouldn't be sharing it. I typically don't do the "hey, look how bad this is" thing on the internet. There's enough negativity. I like to just talk about things I love, and this book is one of the things I love. You got your Betrayer gods again, Lord of the Hells. That's Asmodeus. Strife Emperor. That's Grumsh. Spider Queen, Lolth. Scaled Tyrant, Tiamat. The Whispered One is Vecna. But they had to give them legally distinct names for reasons. They're not stat blocked anywhere, so like you're good there. You get even the lesser idols, like Ukatoa is here, or he was. I thought he was. Is he not a lesser idol? Am I talking out my ass? The Luxon from season 2 is mentioned here. The Traveler, Vesh the Bloody Siren, Kashaw's patron, if you will. I mean, he's technically a cleric, but she sure as hell sounds like more of a warlock patron. You got your factions and societies, more beautiful art. The faction and society sections are great because it gives you their goals, some key figures, relationships, again, figures of interest. Laura, everyone's favorite wizard. Just flip through real quick. Let me get through. You get the Ashari, the Brawlers League, Clare Orders, the Clasp, Golden Grand, League of Miracles, so on and so forth. And then you get to the Gazetteer. I don't know why I said it weird. This one has the stats and stuff for settlements, cities, permanent settlements and cities, and then it gives story hooks. I love a good story hook because, again, sometimes when you're running games, you are a bit overwhelmed with creating the NPCs and the adventure in general. So sometimes it's nice to just have a good couple sentences to be like, hey, there's this story hook. We'll go here. We'll start with I'm going to pronounce it Drena. Drina. I've never heard it pronounced. I'm betting it's Drena. You've got the adventures. I don't know. Can you see them? Let me look at my other screen here. Yeah, you got your adventures right here. This way. The column closest to me has your adventures. And it's a mid-level adventure, unfriendly waters. The city suffered a number of losses, with prospectors and fisherfolk being attacked, where still the supply of fish itself seems to be declining rapidly. Without this local food stable, villages across eastern Tal'Dorei will certainly starve. The party hears the call for mercenaries, reaching as far as Westrun and Stillben. The culprit is a hydra within the lake. It's a speaking hydra and commands a tribe of lizard folk. That's a fantastic adventure idea. That's the kind of thing where it's just enough that you can put it on a job board in game, or you can have, the barkeep at the tavern tell the party like, hey, rumor has it that this city out here, near the Lucidian Ocean, Drina, it is it needs help. They're having issues. This is the kind of issues we've heard of. You should go check it out. It's good money. Get some coin for you. That kind of thing. Here's a good one. People have been disappearing from the isolated swamp bergs within Catal. The characters, perhaps en route to Stillben, spend the night in the village of Dunghill. After hearing tales of disappearances, the characters awaken the next morning to screams as terrified human is carried off within the rotting orifice of a shambling mound of swamp vegetation. That's a good quest hook for mid-level players right there. And then they did define mid-level as 5th to 10th, which is where the bulk of D&D games sit for the most part. I was blessed that my first game ever as a DM, it was with mostly my kids and my then girlfriend, and we made it all the way to level 20, and then I had to find stuff for the epic level. So I think they're like 22, 23, maybe 24. It's been a while since we played, but like, I was blessed, and the kids were blessed, and they understand that most games never even get finished, let alone go 1 to 20. I like this setup of, as someone who's, I've mentioned in other videos, I'm currently building a world. And it's great to see like this stuff here in purple. You got the map piece, and then next to it tells you what the majority of the faiths are, the minority faiths, imports, exports. Down here by the city, it gives you the population and breakdown percentages. All that stuff is just great details. If you've seen the Kobold Press video I did before, when you have your city in mind and you know the history of the city, and you've just gone in deep on who makes up the population, how many of what, what's the percentage, what do they do here, do they have artisan goods, or are they a lumber yard, or like stuff like that. It's just great world building stuff, and I love it. I'm trying to not go too long into this. It's got character options for a campaign in Tal'Dorei, races and cultures, standard stuff here. They're real good about the mixed ancestry concept of creating orc dwarfs, elf dragon blood, really kind of staying away from halves. We do have half giants, and because half giants are Goliaths, but I think D&D owns the license for Goliath as a race. Yes, right here it says only certain combinations of ancestry, such as half elves and half orcs, already have racial traits described in the 5th edition core rules. You can use those racial traits as is, or you can create your own mixed ancestry from any two race by choosing one or two racial traits from one parent's race and exchanging them for the same number of traits from another parent's race. So you don't get all of both, is the suggestion. And then you have to consider, what's mechanical and what's flavor or narrative focused. And then, like, I love this elf dragon blood. The concept of the elven features, but then like the scaling and stuff like that. That's just beautiful design on their part. The next bit is Hemocraft, because there is blood magic in Exandria. Different subclasses, Path of the Juggernaut, the Bard College of Tragedy, which is fantastic, the Blood Domain Cleric, and the Moon Domain Cleric. Now, the thing with the Moon Domain Cleric, just like the Moon Sorcerer and Dragonlance in the recent Dragonlance book, the Moon Cleric is very much designed around Exandria's Two Moon world. Might be kind of hard to do the Moon Cleric in the Forgotten Realms or Eberron, a single moon location. Because as you see right there, Channel Divinity, Mind of Two Moons. It is built around and designed around the Two Moon concept. And they give you, for each of these, they give you a example of a cleric. Circle of the Blighted, which is a great, in my opinion, druid class. Way of the Cobalt Soul, Oath of the Open Sea, the Rune Magic Sorcerer. I think that's what it's called, right? Rune Child. Blood Magic Wizard. You get your Exandria backgrounds and stuff. Clasp, Barashari, Cobalt Soul, Reformed Cultist, Rifle Corps from Whitestone. It's all very cool in the way that they designed it, and I love it. Like that it's just so good, and the art's good. Talks about beginning an adventure, vestiges of divergence, and magical items. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble forever about how much I love the work on this book. The Tal'Dorei campaign setting Reborn, you can get it from Darrington Press. You can get it at most local game stores, at least the ones I've been to have it. It is a fantastic book, set in the world of Critical Role, set after Campaign 1, midway through Campaign 2, if I remember correctly, around the time that the Mighty Nine were crossing over into Xhorhas, when they were going under the tunnels. That's around the time, if I remember correctly, that this book is set. It doesn't talk about Wildmount at all, except for sporadic references. It is a book for Tal'Dorei. As someone, again, who's building a world, that book is very influential in how one does it. You couple it with some other books, and I've just had a really good time building my world bit by bit by bit, brick by brick, so to speak. But that's yet another book for 5th edition D&D that has nothing to do with D&D officially. Those of you like myself who love the 5th edition rule set or are comfortable with it and don't want to move on to one of the many other games that exist, this is stuff that's good for you, because you can buy this and it doesn't support the tyrants at Hasbro. And that's good. Anytime you can do something you enjoy and you don't put money in the pocket of some greedy assholes, fantastic. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video when I discuss something Soulsborne-y. How's that sound? See ya next time.